Now we're recording, and so what is up, Melrose Hill? How you guys doing today?
What's up,
What's been going on in the world this weekend for you guys?
This weekend, shit, I'm a dad, so
Okay,
had
right
the
on.
weekend off, so I always try to do some cool stuff with my son. So
Yeah.
I took him to a Clipper game yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he enjoyed himself, so
Yeah,
he's
how-
happy, makes me happy.
How are the Clippers doing these days?
Oh, they blew the Spurs out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of boring. But,
See,
it
I
was, I guess cool.
I'm not like a big sports fan. I've
Yeah.
always like heard stuff.
Yeah.
And so like in my brain, because my dad was like a big Lakers fan
Mhm.
in like the late '90s, early 2000s,
That's dope.
I think of the Clippers as like, oh man, those guys are trash, right?
Same
They're the
here.
trash LA team. But I know like in the late 2000s, like 2009, when they had like Blake Griffin, right? They were
Yeah,
killing
the
it
Lob
at that
City
time.
era.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're big on basketball. Well, I don't know, like
Big
Brian.
on all sports.
But,
Yeah.
but
to be
we
honest.
grew up hooping though. We're still right
Yeah.
now 2-on-2 anybody.
Hey, no, and even like you said today, the World Cup started.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like it's dope. Like I enjoy that shit. I got off work very, very late, and I was up at 8 just to see that
Yeah.
shit, and it was dope.
Did you hear about the weird laws going on there?
Yeah, they can't drink.
They can't drink,
And they
if
pulled out last minute. They pulled out
if-
the Budweiser.
I heard that
Ooh.
it's 7 years in prison for having extramarital sex or
Damn.
premarital sex there. Like if people get caught hooking
7
up,
years?
they get
Oh,
7
goddamn.
years.
It's $100 here.
Hey,
Yeah.
and I'm just taking my wife with me.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I'm taking my wife
I,
with me.
I think they have laws against public displays of affection too, even for married couples. Like it's
PDA?
yeah.
You can't hold hands?
I'm not sure what the extent is. A lot of the laws that I've heard, like I'm wondering, like where's the line? Like the sex law, like
So
what
that-
counts as sex?
what
What
is-
are they counting there?
What
Like
is-
it's vague.
for
What is
real.
that though? Like, that's communism or dictatorship? Like, what is that?
It's a
What the fuck
it's
is that?
like fundamentalist Islamic country, I think.
So it
Yeah.
believes.
Qatar,
It
yeah.
believes.
Like
Yeah.
biblical, like religious. They follow like the
Yeah,
the commandments. I guess are law, right?
yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
I believe it's the Quran, but like it could be some other religion. I know that. I mean, it's Qatar. I don't think it's technically like Middle East. I think it's
Asia.
Africa.
Oh, Africa.
I think I could be
Maybe.
wrong. It might be more towards that area, but yeah, it's weird fundamentalism, religious stuff.
Yeah. That's
Which
it.
super extreme. Like
Yeah, it seems boring. But I guess
Yeah.
when you do get it in, it's worth
yeah,
it.
right. That's the thing. Like it probably
Fuck,
is
I've been
like
holding this nut.
wild for them. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like anywhere, right? Like people be saying like out here it might be crazy, but then when you come out here, right? Hey, it's relaxed, So
Yeah.
until you're there,
Yeah,
right?
right? You don't know the- you don't know
It's
the
media,
vibes.
right?
You
It's
don't
media.
know.
It's
You
just
don't
media.
know.
It's
Yeah.
media.
You don't know, man.
And they got a team in it, so maybe it makes them
No,
a better
it ain't.
soccer team.
I saw some shit. I saw some
Right?
shit.
Hey,
I
it'll
think
make
it-
me a better athlete.
I saw some shit, but it might be a lie. Where supposedly like the fucking I don't know government of Qatar, like they supposedly were trying to bribe Ecuador to throw the first game. So
Oh,
they
yeah?
could win.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real, but
it-
I wouldn't doubt it.
it could
And they're
be,
so
yeah.
strict, They're like, nah,
Yeah.
nah, we're
Oh,
gonna
I
win. We're not gonna host and lose.
Yeah. I don't think I mentioned it, but these two waters are for you.
Thank you.
No,
Just
I
say
already
that.
opened mine. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, cool. But yeah, with those countries, it could create good athletes. Do you guys follow UFC?
Not much.
No,
not too much.
Um,
Fuck.
There's you ever heard the name Khabib?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy
yeah.
who fucking wrestles bears.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's from he's from Russia, and he's like a strict Muslim, and he's
Oh.
got like a big team at this point of other guys from that same area who are all like strict Muslims, and they are dominating. So like they may have like a strict
Discipline, right?
lifestyle,
It's
but
a
yeah, it
discipline.
comes along with that discipline that
Right.
allows them
That's
to
us.
absolutely destroy.
That's us. Very
You guys
strict and very
wrestling bears?
disciplined.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
You know what I
My
mean?
son's like
Yeah.
a little
It
bear.
comes like that,
Wrestle
you
him all the
know.
time.
We ain't wrestling bears, but we strict and disciplined, and we coming out there. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
And we want to take over.
Do you guys, when you say strict and discipline, like, do you guys have a practice schedule that you follow, recording schedule, a certain time set apart for writing, anything like that?
No. We hold ourselves like I feel like for myself, I hold him accountable, and he meets me to a certain way that he motivates me, that I work in that way,
Yeah.
you know, and like there's no schedule. We don't drop shit. Like we say we're gonna drop shit and it doesn't drop, and then we take even longer, but at the same time, we keep ourselves accountable. We do shit, and there's no timetable to this shit. There's always love, because I've been knowing my brother for a very, very long time, since we were like little kids,
Yeah.
children. I mean, we went to preschool together, you know. So I've been knowing him for a very, very long time. So
Yeah, that's wild. I don't think I've known anybody that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you guys been making music together?
Oh, together, like officially?
Yeah.
It's 2020, the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
We're babies.
Okay.
Nah, but I like to say, new to the scene, but not new to the craft. You
Okay,
know,
yeah.
We grew up like rap battling, and
Okay.
like, followed the culture like shit. Like I think it's safe to say we grew up on a lot of like East Coast influence.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. So like, you know, like whatever was popping in the East,
Mhm.
it was like we're up on it, and then like and then whatever's happening here, right? We're from LA, so we obviously are also seeing what's going on. So having that, we're not like pigeonhole. Like our ears aren't like.
How old are you guys?
I just
30.
turned 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty close to my age. I'm 29.
Okay.
It lets me gauge like
The eras.
Yes. Yeah. Who are some like artists that were majorly influential to you? Who are like the top artists for you guys?
Big pun.
Yeah, I was
Big
gonna
Pun?
say.
Okay.
yeah,
Man, the Punisher,
The
man.
man, the test, but not just like just him, but like cause he's the best, right? But
Yeah.
like
His
his
whole
whole
crew.
Terror Squad, like
Yeah.
like you know, people might only know Terror Squad like from Lean Back, you know, like that was
Mhm.
like the Terror Squad hit, but like we actually had like the Terror Squad album with the you know the first one
With
when
the
they're in the graveyard, the
tombstone and
tombstone, the
shit.
lightning, the black and gray,
You know?
and like bumping that, but like bumping Fat Joe shit too. Fat Joe like has hits, but I don't listen to like a lot of the hits. Like we know album
Yeah.
cuts and shit. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
like,
for a minute I bumped that first Big Pun album a lot. After
Shit, hard.
after
That
hearing, of
shit's
course,
sick.
like Still Not a Player, I was like,
It's just
okay,
the
I
wackest
gotta
song
check
on
out,
there.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because of that, I was like, I gotta check out the rest of this album.
yeah, it's
Um,
sick. It's sick.
It's one of those songs one of the rare songs where I like the censored version better than the uncensored one, because I think the line "I'm not a player, I just crush a lot"
Yeah.
it's such a great line to me, because like crush could mean like
innocent,
banging,
yeah,
but it could
yeah.
also mean
Like
you know, I got
some-
crush on someone, I crush a lot. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah.
player,
Yeah,
I just crush a
Yeah.
lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if that was done on purpose.
yeah,
Or it was
right.
just a word, like a filler word.
Yeah.
I wonder if they thought that deep into it.
Yeah,
that would be-
it could be, even if it's an accident. That's kind of a
But that's how
kind
music's
of the
made
magic
though.
thing.
But that's
Yeah,
how shit is. Like I
Really?
write bars and sometimes it's like shit. I didn't even mean it like this, but it
Yeah.
was like this. Yeah.
no, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the magic of writing.
Art,
Sometimes,
yeah,
like it,
for sure.
Do you think that do you think when you make an accident like that ends up being something better? Do you think there was something in your subconscious that does that, or you think it's just
Yeah.
the coincidence?
I
of the
think, but then
universe?
also it's like that happens a lot. Like,
Yeah.
You know, you might fuck up a lot. So it's like, you know, I think the most important thing is just never to get discouraged. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
like just don't get discouraged because. Like that might happen, but like on the 10th fuck up, you know, not the first fuck up, you know. And if you like, you know, you can't stress too much about like being too perfect.
Right.
Either it's
I
all.
think, and then like going back in your point, like subconsciously, I believe like that shit does occur, because sometimes I'm writing shit and I'm like, holy fucking shit, I just wrote this shit and it just came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and I wonder what the fuck, like how did what the fuck,
yeah,
and it just comes out, and it just comes out of nowhere, and it's just like damn, and then I read it and I'll be like, holy shit, this is what we created.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get
I
you.
think so. So like subconsciously, I think like whether it's just us being here today, or like you reading a book, or whatever the fuck, living your life, being a father as we both are. You know, like I feel like, yo, yeah, hip hop is that, and it's like you might be writing shit, and then you write shit about the shit you didn't even know you were writing about, but you experienced it,
Yeah.
and that's just hard.
Yeah.
Because, you know, my brother, he inspires me a lot. This motherfucker writes a lot of dope hooks, a lot of dope lyrics. And then I'd be like, damn, like, I got to pair up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's in Greek mythology, you know, Hermes, or he was Nike's in Roman mythology. He's like the
The
messenger.
messenger,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There, I believe he's also considered the god of inspiration, and
Oh,
the
yeah?
the idea behind that is like he's flittering all over, you know.
Okay.
And like
He's getting
we as
to it.
people, like our attention kind of flitters all over, and we don't really know why it goes to this thing. Why am I interested in this? I don't know. It's interesting, you know.
Right.
And I think that like when you're writing, when you're creating stuff, you're kind of like following that around, and it does do that. It flitters from this and this, and sometimes like there's a web there that you don't see. Like
Yeah.
you follow that flitter,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of like when you know those shows where they're like investigating the killer and they put the dots
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and then they're like, oh man, it makes a symbol.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it is, right? You follow
Yeah.
the inspiration for a while and then
Right.
you step back and you're like, oh, all these little
Yeah.
pieces made something bigger than I
Yeah.
expected
Sir.
it to.
But like going back to the subconscious, like
Yeah.
it comes if you're really like in love with what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know, you gotta have that shit years and years. You know, like
Yeah.
you know, like it's wisdom, I guess. You know, the
Mhm.
subconscious wisdom that comes. You know, and
Yeah.
like you know, you can't just hop in. You know, that's
Yeah.
the thing when you hear some like shit that don't make sense.
I think that's true, and it helps too if you're genuine.
yeah,
Like there's
Yeah,
some
yeah,
people
for
who
sure.
will
for sure.
who are writing not the stuff that they are interested in,
trying
but
to
like
people please.
yeah, they're
Mm.
trying to make what they think will hit, and it's like if you do that, you're never gonna
Yeah,
get
it's
that.
not genuine.
Yeah, you're never gonna get that actual deep thing
Yeah.
you're trying to make.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you guys write your beats, are they produced by one of you or
Fuck
both?
no, I wish.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not tech savvy at all. I don't know how to fucking.
When you write your
Slow.
lyrics, do you start with music and write to it, or do you write lyrics first and then try to find beats that match up with that?
Well, I'll answer separately.
So when I hear a beat, I harmonize to it. So I pick basically like how I wanna like my pockets to be and like
Mhm.
how I wanna come out and spit to it, and then just fill in my blanks and I fill up my lyrics to like how I want my shit to come out. you know?
Okay, so do you do those like I'll see like Kanye or the Linkin Park guys, I've seen them do it too, where like they'll rap gibberish, like they'll just da 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 da, and then they'll write the lyrics to match like the flow they came up. Do you ever do that? Just record the blah blah blahs to figure out your flow?
Nah, I just feel it's like a feeling, you know, like
Yeah.
you hear the beat and it's just it leads me into like my flow, it leads me into like my words, it leads me into everything, and then like so once I like it, I just start writing, and then you know like how I told you, like the words
Yeah.
just come out, like the words truly do just come out, and it comes out to my verse.
Okay. Yeah. How about you when you're writing? You follow the beat along?
So
with
yeah, because only because like I think in terms of like what you're saying, I will pre-conceptualize something,
it? Okay.
and then like you know, so when I hear the right beat that comes with it, that's when it
Yeah.
comes out. Not in terms of like writing a bar, but even
Yeah.
look, coming back to your subconscious, when you mentioned the subconscious, like I don't write anymore. Like I'll write sometimes, but it's more like jotting down like your key points.
Okay.
Or a bar, or like okay, I don't want
Mhm.
to forget this.
Yeah.
But subconsciously, like I'm always, you know, like once you hear the beat and you know kind of rhythm and cadence you want, like it always comes back. You know,
Okay.
once I could just see one line, like or one, you know, and the one
Mhm.
thing, but only because like when I was younger, like I used to fucking write so much.
Yeah.
A lot.
Mhm.
A lot. So like even when I'm stuck, like I have writer's block, you know, I could think back to like some lyrics I wrote, like because I wrote it.
Yeah.
Because I guess like I have a visual memory, so
Mhm.
I could literally like remember a lyric and then I could like go back to my composition book in my mind and like
Yeah.
or like a little piece of paper and I'm like, what the fuck did I write there? And then it might not happen on that day, but maybe later on when I just keep bumping the beat, trying to crack the code or whatever,
Mhm.
it'll come back, you know. And
God
then-
given.
Yeah.
God given.
Do you guys have a certain I don't want to say message because that makes it too like preachy. A certain
Yes.
culture you want to express through your music.
Culture?
A certain
Yeah. Now let's
ethos, behavior that you
well,
want to promote.
let's answer each
Yeah.
one. Culture, ethos. We could answer each one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Culture. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, hell yeah, because we're like, we're friends, but like we're so like alike because of our parent, like where we grew from. Melrose Hill is a neighborhood in East Hollywood, and like it's very heavily populated by like Central Americans. There's Mexicans everywhere, right? And,
Yeah.
but there's like this like a nice little concentration of Central Americans there. More specifically, like our parents are from El Salvador, so we're first generation kids and stuff. And the unique thing about our neighborhood is that there is a large influence of our parents' homeland in that neighborhood, like just the style, the stilo, like the day to day, like like I don't mean anything by this, but it's just the truth. Like growing up, like I don't remember a lot of black people living in our neighborhood, like very like heavy Latino, like the community and stuff.
To the point that I go visit my mom, and we still bump into neighbors.
Yeah.
We still bump into people that they've known us since we were children, since we were like little kids. And shit, and so that's that love, and Melrose Hill is us. That's us, and that's who we are. Definitely Serrano's finest. You know what I mean? Like that's who we is and shit.
Right.
And like, and East Hollywood is who we're gonna put on, man. That's what we represent.
Like that's the culture there. But one story, like a story that would be good to this would be that in 2020 when we finally made the decision to like record stuff, it was during the pandemic, right? So, we spent a lot of time. We had time to hang out. And at the time, like, we were both going through transitions in our personal life. But because, work was slow, I guess, so we had more time to hang out.
Yeah.
And at this time, he was still living on the street where we grew up. And we were just like, be bored. Like, oh, let's go hang out, like, I'll pull up on you. So, like, literally, like, we were sitting in front of his the building that I've always known him to live in. We're growing up in the staircase of the building, chilling, drinking, smoking, and rapping.
Serrano Avenue.
So the name is not it's not only like that's what like it's not necessarily like we are representing it because that is our roots.
But
that area is our roots. But
the birth of the group.
Exactly.
Yes.
It happened there. We could have been kicking it at a bar.
Yeah.
We could have been doing, well, maybe it was a pandemic, not a bar. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, like when we started, like, like the first project that, like, I put out, but he's, like, the only feature. Like, after that, like, we kind of said, let's just be the group,
Yeah.
Because the first, but whatever. The point is that
Cienfuegos EP.
Yeah, the
Check it
Cienfuegos
out.
EP, out everywhere. But the point is that, like, we're at that was like, okay, we're listening to the beats. We're rapping, like, what you got? Okay, like, it was like an eagerness, like, okay, I'll be back tomorrow or later on this week, and, like, let's see what you got. So it was dope because it was, like, so it really, like, it was so organic, and it felt like that, like, the youth in us came out, like, like, dude, like, this feels good, like, how we used to always do growing up,
Yeah, when you guys started doing that, at what point did you decide, like, yo, this is dope, let's get into a studio?
I think immediately.
Yeah?
It felt good. It felt too good. Like, it just felt good.
Yeah.
And the resources were there. Like, he really...
like Charlie, like, like I met Great Lakes. Shout out to Great Lakes. That dude is a great man. I met him at a bar because I used to work there. That fool's a legendary fucking beat producer, and he introduced us to fucking Charlie, and
run like the studio. They have a studio, so they provide the resources. We could record and make beats and all that.
Okay, right on. And did you guys have, before you started doing Melrose Hill, did you have experience recording and?
Never. That first stuff on the Santiago's EP is the first time I ever recorded, ever heard myself.
Okay.
So
yeah,
to
how
me,
was that?
that shit was dope. Like that's why I'm here now.
Oh no, I mean like
That's why I'm here now, bro. Like, but it's like I use that, like even having my dad. I don't know if you're familiar with our music, right? Like you heard, right? So the damaged goods song where it says, been through shit, you can see the damage. Use that shit to my advantage. Not brand new, we just refurbished. Like that shit means, like that shit means like. We've been doing this, but never like actually, to the world or whatever. So it's like it feels like back for the first time,
Yeah.
So it's like and I think like you are using it to our advantage because sometimes when artists that put out a lot of this shit, like have a lot of content and stuff, you kind of see where they're like they start right there, they're whack or whatever, they get better. Like that, or not whack, but they get better as there's a progression.
They gotta polish up
there's a
bit.
progression.
Yeah.
But we went through that without recording. So now that we're recording, I mean, we still make mistakes. Trust me, there's things that mistakes that we made, but I feel like those are growing pains. But in terms of the maturity, the content, and the skill, like the bar, cause I guess the criteria that's well polished. That's well polished because we've been doing it.
Yeah, I get it. When I started as Kid Ikarus, I used to rap under a different name when I was in high school and stuff.
Okay.
And so like I have a bunch of stuff out under that old name that is not great.
Right.
What was that name?
It was MC Misfit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What years is this though?
This was like, it would have been like 2011 to 2013. And so back in, I think 2018, I decided to be Kid Ikarus. And like
better
when
name.
I put out, oh, thank you. When I put out like my first project, I was like, oh, I have already spent these years like figuring this out. So at that point, I put it out and was like, I actually enjoy this.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger doing it, I thought like, oh, the reason I don't enjoy it is because it's my own voice. Everyone's kind of self-conscious about their own voice. But then when I got to this level as Kid Ikarus and started doing it, I was like, oh no, I was wrong. I didn't like it because it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Now that I'm good, I actually enjoy listening to my own music. Though, I feel like when you first record your vocals, it's always kind of like, oh, that doesn't sound right. And then they start EQing it,
Yeah,
the
engineers play
okay, now I understand why it didn't sound right. There's like weird feedback over it and stuff.
Yeah.
When you guys put out, I know Damaged Good is the first track. What's the project called?
Damaged Goods.
It is called. Okay,
I
was thinking I was wrong, and it was just the song.
Yeah, nah, that's the.
When you guys put that out, it sounds like you guys started during the pandemic. So had you done any shows at that point, or was the project the first the world had heard of you?
Prior to the first thing or Damaged Goods?
Prior to the first thing, yeah, not Damaged Goods. Prior to your first project.
Nah, not really. We didn't do no shows before Cienfuegos, right?
Like
we were in Melrose Hill.
Yeah, together we never did no show.
Yeah.
When you guys, I'm just checking the camera, keep on talking. When you guys first dropped it, did you immediately release music video or anything with it? Just the project?
That's where we're lagging. That obviously I think in order to be kind of successful, you have to. There's multiple areas other than in the booth. You have to, and that's where we're lagging. Putting visuals out there. But I don't like to make excuses. I would say, but that's attributed to like real life. We're grown. We got families and stuff, just like anybody else. I don't want to make it seem like an excuse, but I think that's kind of what holds us back in that sense. But we know, like, we're definitely that's the area where we lack. We only have one music video out there, but it could be it could be a good and bad thing because it kind of gives us a little more mystery, a little more mysterious.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's a lagging issue if there's not videos out, because there's some people who will put out tons of videos and they're not putting in enough effort into any of them. You know what I mean? Like there's some artists that are quantity over quality, and I don't think that's a great move either. If it takes a long time to put out a music video, it's like, all right, that's fine, because you've been you're getting ideas together.
Yeah.
You're gonna put effort into the ones
Yeah.
that you do, as opposed to some people who push out too many things.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that you guys do projects, which is something I've kind of criticized some people about, is when they put out just singles and always singles, and I that's just a pet peeve of mine with a lot of hip hop artists.
Because you can't figure out like their identity. Is it that?
Yeah, I feel like the when a whole project is released together, there's so much effort that's put into it that everything kind of gets polished. Because by the time you're recording the last song, you're kind of listening to the first one and being like, okay, I can tweak this, I can tweak this.
You live with it more.
Yeah. And so when it finally gets put out, it's like, oh, this is a full piece of work that deserves my attention. Where like some singles that are rushed to be put out, it's like, why should I bother listening to this? This wasn't enough effort for me to really sink my teeth into, you know? So what, I know you guys got a slang show coming up, right?
Yeah, with Pump Gato.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Dude puts together good shows, right? He has a good taste for various artists. And you did play another slang show earlier in the year.
We're alumni. We're alumni.
You know?
How is getting to like play live starting to feel? Like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, right? It's just reps. Every rep we get better and better.
Yeah.
I think, you know, like we inspire each other different ways. Like his stage presence is something that, you know, I need to match. You know,
Okay.
you know. So we bounce off each other. That's the review that we've gotten. You know, you guys look good together. You guys sound good together.
I see you got the hat. Do you have is that merch that you sell, or is that one just for just you?
It's 101, but it's a
101.
prototype though.
Okay,
it's a prototype.
Yeah, it's
You
nice.
know, the one thing, you know, like also, I mean, fuck, I got a lot of priorities, and you know, we're balling on a budget, you know.
Yeah,
so,
no, I get it.
You know, and before you invest in that, you want to kind of have some sort of
Yeah, you need people to buy,
fan
purchasers.
base.
Yeah.
But that's why, you know, we're on our way, dude. Like, to be honest, this is really a blessing, and we'd like to thank you because, you know, we put in all the work. We take the music seriously, you know. Like we take our time with it, and we make sure that it's like of quality and stuff. So, you know, slowly, surely you get recognition, and like, yeah, we've been dying to do a podcast, right? But, you know.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for
And you're
coming
the
on.
first,
I
bro.
always
You're the
need
first, so this is
content,
really a
and I
milestone.
enjoyed your is it an EP or is it a project? It's only like 5 songs.
I just call
or
everything
something.
a project.
Yeah.
Just call everything a project.
Yeah, I was listening to today. I was enjoying it, so I am glad to have artists on that I enjoy. Plus, I wanted to get artists to promote the Slang Show. Like it's
dope.
Yeah, I had Pump on before
I seen that.
the October show that we were supposed to have,
Yeah.
and then that one kind of fell through. So I'm glad to see Slang's back for the end of the year and stuff.
Yeah, and you know what else? Like, just to mention, what feels so good about what we're doing and how organically it's happening, that the first couple shows, right? The first couple of Slang shows, like, the dudes running the sound was the Sueño team, which is going to be one of the answers to your later question. Like, those are our buddies from our neighborhood. Like, they're also residents of fucking Melrose Hill.
Nice.
And that happened completely organically. Just later, and once we started, like, we just connected, like the stars aligned.
Yeah, it's a small world in music, right? You always run into people.
So when we when we team up with them, it really feels like somewhat of a powerhouse, you know.
Yeah.
But it's because it's organic, you know, like the comfortability, right? Because that's like being a new artist and stuff. Like, that's always a fucking intimidation, you know. You can feel confident, but stepping into a stage in front of strangers is, you know, somewhere where you're not from, a little you know, like out of your comfort zone or whatever. It's a little intimidating, but look how blessed we are. We got the homies doing our sounds. We don't gotta worry about the DJ fucking up, because that's our homie, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let them know.
And
And a little secret
but that's
too.
just meant to be.
And a little secret too, you know, like the only reason why we are like alumni is because of the Sueño team, because of them just putting in the word and believing in us, and we just do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Right on. Oh man, I had a thought and I lost it. Sometimes sometimes I lose thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I feel you, but I think we're kind of taking you off your.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not at all. You guys are giving me the right kind of feedback to keep the movement going.
For sure.
Y'all ever drink these Venom energy drinks?
So I stay away from energy.
Oh yeah,
drinks.
Yeah, same
watermelon
here,
lime flavored, tastes like a Jolly Rancher. It's
Yeah.
the most delicious thing. So, oh man, I keep it on the tip of my tongue. So, playing shows. You've been running into people you know, yeah. Do you guys have experience like going to shows in your youth? Were you big on going to shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, tell the story of our first show.
You.
All right, so like the thing is, we're like children of hip hop because
Yeah.
I have an older. I always mention this because it's like the real important part of I guess people understanding like more specifically the LA underground scene, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always been there. Like I have an older brother. He rapped.
Okay.
It's funny because you kind of remind me of his partner because he was a white guy.
Right on.
But the first show we ever went to was in 9th grade. My brother's 6 years older than me, right? So he was already out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And like he gave me like tickets. And he's like, here, try to sell them to your friends, you know? But it's because we're from Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So at the time, like the section we're from, Melrose Hill, like our home school was still Hollywood High, which is no longer like that. If you live in that neighborhood, it's a newer school they built closer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Hollywood High is on Hollywood and Highland, right, basically. And there was a knitting factory there.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, there was a knitting factory, right? The venue.
Oh,
And,
okay. I thought you meant like an actual.
No,
Like
like a
knitting
Nah,
factory.
like the knitting
Okay.
factory,
like the knitting factory is like the I think there's still one in the East Coast, but whatever. The point is that it was like a venue, right?
Yeah.
And like they would have big, respectable acts or whatever. So yeah, we're in 9th grade, you know, and my brother had a show there, and that's the first show we ever went to ever.
Right
And we're like 13,
A
14.
bunch of local artists.
No, he
No.
opened up for
Tone Deaf.
Tone Deaf and
Tone
from
Deaf,
East
okay.
Coast
Yeah.
Q5. That's
Yeah.
the thing about us, dude. Like we've listened to so much underground
Shit.
artists, like and
Yeah.
like from everywhere, like
Necro.
East Coast, Midwest, you know,
Shit.
fucking like white guys too. Like you're white, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I like copyright. Like there's an artist that we grew up. Like
Yeah.
like at one point he was like the shit.
Copyright.
Yeah.
Copyright.
That
Yeah.
I was a
That's
big
what's
fan of
out of the OH10.
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, I remember that first Atmosphere I ever heard. It was like a burn CD.
That was my first
that
step
Atmosphere.
into like
Yeah.
the more alternative.
Hell yeah,
hip-hop
God Loves
was
Ugly,
Atmosphere.
right? That shit's hard. I still know the
Oh
words.
yeah,
to that
that's
shit.
one of
I
my
don't know.
favorite
Yeah.
albums of all time.
Yeah, that's
God
just
Loves
hard.
Ugly.
That's just
yeah.
hard. But it's like a moment in time, and we were there.
Yeah.
We partook in it.
Yeah,
that
that's
moment
pretty,
in time.
That's
you know?
pretty sick.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
but that is the first show we ever went to, and then yeah, like like that's the thing. We're kind of like blessed. We're we're fucking Angelinos, whatever. So we know venues, and like we're privileged. We don't gotta drive far to hit a venue. you
Oh
know?
yeah, that's true.
So yeah, we go to a lot of shows. I've been, man, the craziest story I think in terms just like of going to a show
Mm-hmm.
is I went to in 2019. I went to the LBC. The you know the thing that guy got killed at Los Angeles, the Once Upon a Time in LA, where Drake Yo got killed, the rapper.
Don't know the.
It was a show, right? But
Okay.
it was like they moved it because it was at Long Beach,
Yeah.
right?
He used to be there.
So it was like they only had 2 or 3 years in before the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one I think was 2018. It was the year Nipsey got killed because he was
Okay.
one of the headliners and he didn't, obviously he got killed. So
Yeah.
it was in July. It was like a summer thing. None of my friends were able to get tickets, and I went by myself
Mhm.
to this fucking festival, like a
Yeah.
fucking 5,000 fucking people. It was like it was sold out, and they even added a day because so many people were there. And I went by myself, and that's kind of not a smart move because it's so hot. Like you see people passing out like seizures and shit,
Yeah.
and like fainting because of the heat and shit. But fuck, I went.
Yeah.
I went, yeah, and I survived.
Nah, but my homie is so hip hop too. I couldn't make it to that show, but I always, every time we hang out with the homies, I always hear about this shit. They went to a Bodega Bam show
Yeah.
with the homie. He got kicked out twice.
Twice.
And
He
went
won.
back in.
And he got back in.
He got back into the Bodega Bam show.
What were you getting kicked out
No,
for?
not me though. Not
No,
me.
no, no.
Our
It was
other
not
friend.
him. It was another homie. Another
Yeah,
homie.
man.
Okay.
Shout out to fucking Smiley.
Yeah. And R.I.P. to Feed, man, because he put us on to Bodega. Yeah, one of our friends that put us on to him. Like the first time I ever heard Bodega Bands was through him. He passed away just recently, so.
What has been the best show that you have been to?
The last one I went to, the Nas and Wu-Tang one.
Oh,
The
snap.
Hollywood Bowl. That shit was sick.
Yeah, that's a couple good.
And I had
lineup.
seen Wu-Tang already at
Yep.
the first LBC show. That's the one I was telling you about. But they said that was the first time rocking the bowl ever. So they came with like energy. So
Who's your favorite Wu-Tang member?
I would say definitely Method Man. You know, I guess the
Okay.
general consensus.
I
Because,
don't know
like-
if that's the general consensus.
But I would say well. The thing is that he has the most like digestible music, I think.
I think he kind of
But
has
but
a
fuck, in
major
terms of like
mainstream
bars, like
appeal.
the Jizza and like Inspector Deck, like
Yeah.
I think they have the good combination of like making it digestible and also having the good delivery, the good, cause fuck like fucking Ghost is dope, but fuck, so he spits fast and it's like hard to keep up. Like fuck, what do you say, like that, and then Ray too,
Yeah.
you gotta really like break it down.
Those two, I think, are my favorites.
Yeah.
I go back and
Word.
forth on them.
Yeah.
I love Ghostface for his like emotionality.
Yeah.
Like he makes real emotional
Yeah.
music, and then Raekwon just because like he's so aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, for Cuban Links is like
Mhm.
a
Oh yeah.
most aggressive
Yeah,
of their
dude.
like solo projects and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Wu-Tang show?
The Hulu?
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't, but I seen the Mike's a Man on Showtime. Or
Okay.
the Men, it's like a documentary
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
style. It's
Yeah.
not like, cause that's like a
That's-
dramatic
it's
series,
dramatic
right?
one.
No, this is
Um,
like a documentary style where they're like they sit and in a theater and watch the documentary, and then you see
Oh.
their reactions and stuff. It's just sick.
Do
on
they
Showtime.
like talk about it and stuff during it?
Yeah.
The-
It's dope. Like they show real footage and shit.
Apple TV had a Beastie Boys documentary that was the
Uh-huh.
same thing. Like the two
They
that
watch
are
it.
left would watch scenes and then talk about it for a while.
Yeah, so it's real, like a raw moment on camera.
yeah.
It's sick.
The Wu-Tang show, I highly recommend it. It was much better than
It's
I
the one with
expected.
Joey Badass and Dave East.
Yeah, Joey
yeah,
Badass.
yeah.
Though he's not in it much because he's like he plays Inspector Deck, but like he's not one of the like core members. It's mainly about RZA,
He's not the protagonist
Ghostface.
or whatever.
Mainly RZA, Ghostface, and I guess Raekwon, Method Man. Like those four tend to take up the spotlight.
Yeah.
And then RZA's brother, which I don't know if he's based on a real person, but he becomes like their business manager.
Yeah, no, he is.
Right.
He
Yeah.
is. He
Yeah.
is. He is based on a true person.
Yeah, it's a wild series. Like it's so
It's on
well
Hulu, you said,
done.
right?
Yeah, because I mean
Wow.
it's a great story, but it's then elevated by like really, I mean they're fantastic actors, and then like the actual direction and stuff is all polished, and there's some weird episodes about the way that they write. Like it'll have RZA like imagining how the music goes, and there'll be like a drummer playing because he's got a drum sample going, and then a piano player will pop up, and it's all taking place.
There's
in
only
his
one
mind.
season of the show?
It's two now.
Two now.
Yeah.
I think I seen an episode before. They
Yeah.
show the scene where like they shoot into
Oh
they
yeah.
shoot at each
Shoot
other.
it.
Right?
Yeah,
Mark
Raekwon.
Hill,
It
yeah,
starts
right.
with
Like
Raekwon
that, right.
shooting into Ghostface's house.
Right. I seen that. I seen
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, I seen that one.
Yeah, it starts out real quick. What is when you guys make your music? How do you picture your lyrics? Do you guys? I don't know if that's just a thing I do. Like I think very visually.
Yeah.
And when I make music, I see a cartoon. Like I take my life and I try to turn it into cartoons.
Like an animation.
Yeah, because animations are able to like take life but exaggerate the emotions and stuff, and I like that. So I try to do that with my music.
Yeah.
If you were to visualize your music and turn it into like a movie or TV show,
Yeah.
what like movie or TV show would it be?
You go first.
The Simpsons. Nah, I just
The
kidding.
Simpsons.
I just kidding. I just like The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That was a joke. But
I mean, longest running show in history, right? It's got to be.
It's
Hey,
fucking
for real,
funny.
it's still ongoing.
That
It's
shit
not gonna
shaped like
stop.
my sense of humor. This
It's
shit
not
like
gonna
shaped
stop.
my sense of humor.
What-
Sarcasm.
Are you a fan of the like really early days or
I don't.
like
I
the
haven't
early
watched
2000s?
a new episode of The Simpsons in the longest, but like all I know that like from the age of like elementary to like high school, like I will fucking watch that shit religiously. Like a Sunday, every new episode. Watch like back-to-back episodes.
Yeah.
But like once you get, at least for like myself, when I became
Yeah,
a teenager.
that was a good block in
Yeah.
like those early 2000s with
Fucking
like
funny.
Simpsons and
Yeah,
King of
for
the
real.
Hill and
And they
Family
predict shit.
Guy.
That's even tight. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Nah, till today, like I've never really seen The Simpsons like that. So every time I do see it, it's always a new episode to me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
I
what
get
I
that.
mean? So like every time I see it, it'll be like a first for me. So it'll be like crazy shit. Especially now, I got Disney Plus, so I be cheating. I be going through like this episode and seeing, oh shit, this motherfucker became president this day, and this shit came out in The Simpsons
Yeah.
and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's wilding out, right? And they promote it though, like in that shit they promote those certain episodes as well. They got like a category for that.
For the prediction playlist.
Yeah, they got like a category for that.
For
Like,
real?
you
That's
can
cool.
see
That's
it, on
crazy.
Disney Plus.
Oh,
They
that's
got
crazy.
shit like that, so it's
Yeah.
like, just
Were they
tune in,
right?
tune in.
You ever seen the? There's an episode of South Park about how the Simpsons did it first, and the conclusion of the episode is like, I mean, when you've been doing a show for that long, of course they're going to come up with pretty much every idea you can come up with. So
Yeah.
we shouldn't feel too bad for making episodes the same as them, because what are we supposed to do?
Right.
Come up with something new? There's nothing
But
new.
look, even to that statement, that's how music is.
Yeah.
That's how fucking music is, because it's not about what it is, it's how, it's not
Yeah.
how you say it, how you know, because there's nobody fucking is doing nothing new under the sun.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
fucking shit. You're gonna spit a bar, you're gonna think like, this is the best thing I wrote, but somebody across the fucking world wrote that a long time ago. You know? Like, it's not about that, it's more about like how you do it.
Yeah,
How you do
because
it.
it's always going to be a little different.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like
But South Park is equally as funny. I didn't really watch it too much, but I know that when I have watched, the only thing I ever watched of South Park was the movie with the devil.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, the
Saddam Hussein
movie's
and the devil are
classic.
in bed. That's all I
so
remember.
good.
That's all I remember.
Yeah, it makes me think of like counterfeit art.
Yeah.
Like counterfeit art, they always know that it's counterfeit because like they can see the difference in the brush strokes. And that's kind of how it is when you make music, where like even if you're trying to be your favorite artist, you're gonna be something different. So it's like that's still you.
Yeah.
It ends up being just enough different so people can go, oh no, that's this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes. I definitely catch myself doing that. I do write a lot of, I guess I would say I write more like in tangents. So each tangent is really like something
Like a
like an
seed?
image, If you see this image, what can you how much can you draw? How much entendres can you draw from that and stuff? Yeah, I would say there's a song on the Cienfuegos EP, the one that has a Hollywood sign. Like, there's a song called Soul Portrait. That's like a conceptual song.
Sick song.
And if you read, like, it's called Soul Portrait. So like, it's funny you say brushstrokes, right?
Yeah.
Because the whole, like, you just gotta listen to it. The whole concept, every bar and stuff, it's like in terms of a painter. Like I talk about shit like. But like you just gotta hear it. But
You're
that's a
trying
good
to
example.
literally paint a picture with your words.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my version of it, but more or less like you just gotta hear it. Like every like it's all centered around the paint, like a soul, like a portrait. Like I have a bar that says can't be framed, touch all corners of the canvas. That's like. Like what do you envision? Like, you have portraits that have a frame.
Yeah.
But then you have like, what are those things called? Things you put up like on easels. What is shit called? Where you paint.
Like the
But-
canvas.
Yeah, the canvas, right? But some are not framed
Yeah.
because they use every fucking inch of that shit.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I like that the way you just described that, because I feel like sometimes lyricists get too abstract, right? And one of the things I try to do when I write is try to use specific nouns, like a canvas, like a can of soda or something, and try to leave the emotion out of my words and try to imply it through the actual physical object. Because sometimes,
Right.
I'm sad, so depressed, all these thoughts in my head, and it's like, well, does that really say anything? And like some people might think, no, I'm being broad so that people can relate. And I think the exact opposite's true. If I talk about, my blue Nikes scuffed in and dusted, like I talk about a specific object, people are gonna be like, oh, I know that.
Right.
I know that thing.
Nah.
Yeah.
But I apologize. But like for me, like when I write, I lead to like paint an image.
Yeah.
Right? Like our art, right? Like the canvas and the art. At the end of the day, what he painted might not be the same emotion that you read from the same thing he painted, right?
Yeah.
So like when I write, I like to just paint the picture. I like to make sure that whatever I say, you may visualize.
Yeah.
You know,
you put it in the listener's brain.
Yeah, like reading a book, right? Like when I enjoy reading because then like when I read, I get lost. I don't see the words anymore. I see the images,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like with my lyrics, I want people to listen, and maybe you just close your eyes and you see the same images I'm spitting, like how I read a book.
Is there a specific trick or lesson that you've learned over the years that you think other artists should pick up? Any little drop of wisdom that you have for any artist listening?
I can't because like I'm stubborn in my own ways, and ultimately to me, like I started doing it, like doing rapping, becoming a rapper, putting myself out on like that. I was going on a big limb.
Yeah.
So ultimately, like, I don't know, everybody has their own definition of success, but like, let's say it doesn't go anywhere, which I don't, I also am competitive, so I'm in it to win it, I don't ever want to partake or involve myself in something where I'm gonna not be able to like win.
Yeah.
Right. So fuck, I lost my train of thought. But what were we saying?
Just any tips on how to write better.
Right. Because like it is your story.
Yeah.
So how the fuck am I gonna tell you? Like maybe like technical shit. Like don't stand this close to the mic.
That's what I mean.
But then that it's also like you can't, because my voice, like my tone, might not sound good if I'm up on the mic.
And we're still learning.
And we're still learning.
We're
like
still
we're
learning. Like like I gained so much knowledge, like just going to Charlie and just like that fool being excited for like getting a fucking brand new mic and shit, and just like. Nah, I'd rather say the opposite and be like, motherfuckers, what advice you got to give us?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Give us some advice to like go to that next level where we're gonna be,
Yeah, though it does sound like maybe you got a tip there with standing close to the mic. For you, was there an issue with
like I
standing
don't
too
like
close?
like the fucking shit, the cliche thing that every fucking rapper does, right? That a lot like it's like you hear it more than that. People don't like their voice, but they keep doing it. Because they don't like their voice doesn't mean they stop, or they're gonna stop. You just keep going. You keep going until it's that one song where you're like, I like how I sound here. So like, what I do here, let's build on this. And that's it. But it's just reps, bro. I think like anything in life is just reps. You just gotta, if you really want to succeed at something, you're not gonna succeed at it the first time, right? So you just gotta.
You definitely gotta try and fail.
And even if
over and
this
over.
will be a tip. Even if it doesn't mean recording, do it.
Yeah.
You fucking, because that's what I mean. It costs money unless you got a homie that does it for free. Like going in prepared and having all that shit like memorized, whatever you're gonna do, like that comes from fucking in that little a song is what 3 minutes. Take 3 minutes out of your day, like different pockets of your day to practice. If you don't do that, then it's gonna be hard.
That's a major thing.
Yeah, I would say that. But I don't see that nobody does it. Like whoever makes music, like I can't see somebody not doing that, you're trying to remember your lyrics all the time.
I know some people who will show up to the studio without it memorized, and it's frustrating for me, like third hand, being like, "Come on, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You knew you were gonna come record today."
But then that goes to, that's how you're saying, we're like being genuine. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing it for if you're not focused on it?
Yeah.
It's like showing up. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is one.
Yeah.
One fucking song could take you out of this fucking world, and it's like you never know what it was, and like you might miss that boat because your lack of being prepared, but that just comes from how much you really want it,
Mm-hmm.
But that's life, bro. Like that's, if anything, like that's our style. Like just speaking like life. I've been, I feel like I've always been a little more mature for my age and stuff because of things I've had to deal with in my personal life, and it even shows, bro. I look a little older than than my age, but it's just life, bro. It's just life. Like how you fucking partying and doing that shit, turning up, having fun. That's part of life, And we're gonna do that too. We're gonna do that too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. One thing that I learned at some point when I was making music is like I was never. I'm kind of a quiet person, and I would put that into my music where like I was at a speaking volume when I recorded, which like I realized at some point like no, I kind of shout in every verse, like, because I'd rather be pushing too hard so that every word's heard than for me to be quiet and then all my words kind of blend into the same thing, like it gets mumbled and stuff. Yeah, the dynamics shift if I'm like, all the ones I punch, I really need to punch it in there. Like that's a little like technical tip I figured out along the way. Like,
that's so something I would personally say I'm barely like learning, not learning because it's been told to me, but coming into it.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a while to feel it. Like even if you know it in your head, it becomes a point. Yeah, it totally is the reps. Like anything that you want to be good at. There was a point in my life where I wanted to learn how to draw. And I was working at Box Lunch at the time. Y'all ever go to Box Lunch?
I'm familiar with what it is, but I'm not.
It's adult Hot Topic. Like literally, that's what they told me when I started working there. It's owned by the same company.
You think it's a restaurant?
So like a lingerie and shit.
No, not that kind of adult.
Okay, damn, I'm all
they
into
sell
that
like
shit.
cartoon clothes and stuff, but like geared towards 20-year-olds instead of 14-year-olds.
Oh, okay, fuck, never mind.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, it's called Box Lunch because they actually give food. When you buy a certain amount, they give a free food to a homeless person.
Okay.
So it's a cool company. But when I was working there, I was like, I love cartoons and stuff. I was like, maybe if I practice drawing a lot, I could get good and start like designing stuff. And actually, when Black Friday came around, I ended up drawing a sign for us for the front of the store. But like the way that I decided to learn how to draw, like I always used to when I was in high school and stuff, look up lessons and stuff, and like they didn't work. When I decided like I'm going to learn how to draw, all I did was just like take out comic books and just draw the pages, and that's what it takes to get good at anything. It's not about technique, like it's not about learning the lessons. It's about, just do it over and over and over again, and eventually you're gonna get to a point where it's like, oh, I'm decent at this, And it snowballs too, because once you're at that point where you're decent at something, it's way more fun to do it. Like those early days when you're like, oh man, this sucks, then you're like, oh man, it's so hard to get myself to do this. But if you put in those hours, then by the time you're decent, you're like, oh yeah, look at this, it's amazing, look here, take this, I'm gonna do another one.
Drawing is dope, man. Did you draw your logo? That's your drawing?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Can't
draw for shit.
I bet. I'm working on my.
Me either.
I was working on my new EP artwork today, and it's
that's tight because you're resourceful yourself.
Oh yeah, it helps me. It helps me keep my whole aesthetic mind,
full control.
Everything, it's all the same. All my album art looks the same. It's just character with a different background. But I was working on it today, and it's hard. It's looking terrible, but like every time I go back to it, like it gets a little more polished up, and it's going to get to that point eventually where I'm like, this is it. It's going on the cover. So we've reached the end of the episode. It's the last 6 minutes or so here. So this is the opportunity for you guys to shout out anybody who's not getting enough attention, not getting enough recognition. Talking about artists, producers, studios, business owners, pizza makers. If you got a good hot chicken place next to your house, something like that.
We do.
Yeah? I got one too next to my house. Craving Hot Chicken. They started out as Craving Ice Cream, and then they opened up a hot chicken place next door. I don't know why those two things are connected.
Yeah.
They're ice cream though. You know Choco Tacos?
Oh, I love. They don't
Taco
make them no
tacos,
more.
Yeah, Taco Tacos.
They serve all their ice cream
Like a
in
Choco
either
Taco?
in a Choco Taco shell or in a waffle sandwich.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Is it open right now?
It probably is, yeah.
We're gonna go. We're gonna have to hit it.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? The hot chicken place that was in our neighborhood, they got the first location there was Dave's Hot Chicken.
Oh,
they started
yeah.
in East Hollywood, right there on Romaine and Western. You know.
And the Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I've heard some
And
good
that's
things
right in
about
East
them.
Hollywood, right in our neighborhood of
Breaking
Melrose
Western.
Hill
Yeah.
and shit. So like that, I went in there and I told them once. I told the dude, "Hey man, you should do like a neighborhood special, like because there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that are gonna come and support from the neighborhood, like." There's other businesses that do that shit, and they just gave me a free mac and cheese that day.
Hell
And ever
yeah.
since then,
Hell yeah.
they've been hooking it up, you know.
But the pressure.
But it's like, you gotta show love, man. You gotta show a lot of love.
Yeah, I love any local anybody who's trying to do something like that. Those are the coolest people. That's why I love like mentioning restaurants, because like those people are doing something. Like they're taking their they're creating something.
That's a
and
personal
making
dream
a
of mine.
job
I would
out
love
of
to
it.
have some sort of like food business
Right?
and stuff.
He
That's
will.
just
It'd be so
It's just
great.
ill. Hell yeah.
All right, so but don't want to take up that time. Shout out who you guys shout out.
So, like, to be honest, I want to just shout out people that like we grew up with, show them love. So, like,
that'd be great.
well, shit, shout out to the homie, fucking Sal, Rich,
Definitely.
Emmer, the Sueño team, they're the ones that
Willie
put us on to
West.
Slack. Like, they're basically behind. Like, if it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't be here with you because you met us through Slang.
Yeah.
They put us on, so that's them, right? Willie West.
Definitely Charlie.
Yeah.
Definitely fucking
Charlie
Great
Scoble.
Lakes.
Yeah, Charlie Scoble.
Great Lakes. Likewise, man. Thank you, likewise, for producing the whole fucking Damaged Goods EP.
Yep, his cousin Adrian, AVP, he mixed it. So they're like a little duo of cousins. They beats and mixing do that. If you like the fucking sound on that, you should hit them up.
Yeah.
Right on.
And we got more to come. We got more likewise. Fucking Profound. We're about to drop some shit.
Yeah, we're sitting on music, We're
Right on.
sitting on music.
Yeah.
So just shout them all and shit. And fucking Era. Shout out to
Shout
that
out Era.
fool. Shout out to the homie Hector Hectic, Shout out to that fool. Fucking, everybody else, man.
The
Melrose
whole section,
Hill.
Melrose Hill, yeah.
Everybody out there, East
and,
Hollywood,
East
Serrano's
yeah.
finest. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's where the fuck we are.
Right on. All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Slang Hip Hop because they got a show
Gato.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
Racheton.
December 2nd,
Hey,
Neo Ranchito Bar.
Yeah.
That's the place to check out Melrose Hill,
Yup,
amongst
catch us
others.
there.
There's a few other people.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Warhead is going to be on the week.
Shout out him.
Hey,
Shout out the homie.
Shout out
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah,
dude.
we
run into
He's
him a lot.
really ill.
So shout out Slang. Everybody go.
Indigenous
go to the Neo
cats,
Ranchito.
shout out to them
Indigenous
too,
cats,
man. Them
those-
badass
all of them,
homies,
everybody.
man. Badass homies right there.
Yeah, they're great.
Fire.
Everybody.
Fire. And Gmo, everybody, man. Everybody.
Yeah, we
on that
know like
fucking,
everybody on the flyer. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've rubbed
You know?
elbows with everybody.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the Slang
Yeah.
shows. Like he's
Yeah.
so good at like getting the right people together for the shows.
But we're here
Yeah.
for the love. So
And we're going to see you there
we'll show
too.
love.
yeah, I'll
You
be
know
hanging
what
out.
I mean?
All for the
That's
love.
gonna be the
We're
best
all in it
part.
together, So
Yeah.
I appreciate that you reached out. You're the first one to reach out. So like I said, it's a milestone, and it's a moment in
I
time.
appreciate you
For
guys
ours.
sitting down.
Hey, we're gonna remember this in the future
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we're like all popping and shit. Like, we're
That's
gonna
right.
be back here. And
Right
we're gonna
here,
be like,
Library Garden.
First ever. First
right.
ever.
Have a good night, everybody.
Look at me now, finally gained the throne when I've been giving up my crown. Right? I'm feeling blessed. Tell me how are you? Just let me know if there's anything you. Ain't nobody change the world like them servants do.